Let's do it.
Let me just say, a couple of weeks ago, we lost 66-0 and I cried for 10 minutes. So the tears that I was crying the other night were a lot better tears, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So, bit of background. For those that don't know, Phil Gould is one of the most respected figures in rugby league in terms of his administrative skills, in terms of his football knowledge, in terms of him as a player, as a coach. He played for us and then coached us to a grand final back in the 80s, and then moved on. He worked with New South Wales. Coached. He was behind Fittler. He's ahead of Fittler at the moment. As the most successful New South Wales Origin coach. And he's just phenomenal in every aspect when it comes to the logistics side of things of rugby league. He's rebuilt the Panthers to where they are today, even though they sacked him a few years back. He's very big on junior development. Anyway, he's phenomenal. He's always had a tie with the Bulldogs from working for them about 30 odd years ago. So his current role was at the Warriors, where he was doing the same thing and implementing the same process as he was at the Panthers. And building them up from the ground up and just having them like an academy, junior academy, so that they can breed a lot of their talent from there and keep them in rugby league, because rugby union is very strong also in New Zealand. So Phil Gould was in charge of that. He had signed on for a couple of years to do that and to get the ball rolling. Things were looking good. Things were going well. We approached Phil Gould back in Magic Round, and we just thought we'd reach out. John Curry, our CEO, wanted to reach out and see if he'd be available to work with us, which would mean he would need to break his contract at the Warriors. Now, at the time, he declined, and he goes, look, as much as I love the opportunity, at the moment, I'm focused on the Warriors, kind of focused on my role there, and I'm not going to duck out early. Fair enough. So we left it at that. And what had happened was, when everything was kind of back to normal, we had that bubble where we could travel to New Zealand and New Zealand could come to Australia. Phil Gould went to New Zealand and started putting in things in program and in process to have the academy start up, with Stacey Jones there, Tony Iro, Adam Blair, to get really things moving forward to start, the groundwork.
Yeah, nice.
So when we had put in an offer, he had rejected it because he was still working with the Warriors. Then they've closed up the bubble. Now we're in this lockdown again, which kind of made Gould think that if I'm going to be part of a role where I need to be hands-on the club, I can't be doing it for a club like the Warriors. It's not their fault. It's just the current state we're in. I can't do it. I can't commit to being New Zealand every week if I can't travel. If I have to quarantine 2 weeks there, then come back quarantine 2 weeks, it's going to affect my, duties as a commentator, as an analyst, as everything. And it's too much time in lockdown. So there's no way for him to kind of work around that. So we then approached him again and said, look, we know how things are. If we're giving you a role in Australia, in Sydney, from the comfort of your own home, there's no need for you to travel. We want you to consider coming to work for us and making us as good as what the Panthers are now through the junior development programs and a team for the women and everything. Took a bit of time. He went back and forth with the Warriors, and the Warriors said to him, look, we don't obviously want to lose you, but we have no choice at the end of the day, because ideally it's not going to work out. So they were aware. They knew they had an approach from the Bulldogs, and Phil Gould knew that. He goes, I want to go back to my club and eventually help him in some capacity.
How long was his contract with the Warriors?
It was a couple of years.
Okay.
And there wasn't really a time frame on it, but it would have been like a 3 to 5 year kind of contingency plan that they would have had at Panthers, just to kind of get the ball rolling and then have everything set up.
They were happy to release him.
Not initially, and then when he came to realizing, they go, "Look, man, well, it is what it is." Before it got to that part of the conversation, the Bulldogs came in with an offer and said, "We are happy for you to continue to work with developing an academy, a junior academy for the Warriors, but you're employed by us."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that wasn't part of the first arrangement, but as part of the second arrangement, you can still help in being part of their junior academy. If they call you and want your assistance, help them. Do what you can. Let's build the game, because it's not just about the club, it's about building the game in New Zealand.
Yeah, 100%.
So the club were like, we're not going to go against it. We love that idea. You can do that, but we want you to focus on our club. It's pretty clear that.
Doggy supporter there. That's great.
Yeah. So he goes, all right. He's Wayne Beavers, his manager, got in contact. Signed the contract the night before. He informed the Warriors. He goes, look, I'm going to do this. And they go, yep, no problem. He goes, I'm still inclined to help you guys with your junior academy. If you guys want a phone call, I'm always going to help you out. Don't think I'm just going to leave you out high to dry and dog yous. Had the appropriate conversations, signed Thursday night at about 11 p.m. and confirmed to everyone at 10 p.m. that he's joining the Bulldogs as a general manager of football. So very exciting news. One that we needed as a club to really move forward. So we have the All Blacks legend Steve Hansen, who's been doing a lot of work with Trent Barrett and the coaching staff, and even having a bit to do with the players. But now Phil Gould will come in and restructure our whole organization.
Yeah, nice.
It was about 7 or 8 years ago, man. Like I'm sure you remember, where we were not only topping the NRL, but we're topping New South Wales Cup, Toyota Cup, how mad. So we were gunning. Where the Panthers are now, we were
in a big fall.
Massive fall. So he's going to come in. He's going to have a say in who we sign. He's going to have a say in who we bring into the club in terms of on the field, off field. He's going to make a lot of tough decisions. So just want to warn all fans out there, especially for Dogs fans, there's going to be a lot of decisions we're not going to agree with. That's going to be the best for the club that we're just going to have to stick with. By the end of this week, we're going to be announcing that Tavita Pangai Jr. and Paul Vaughan are signing on. To add to the caliber of players we have in Matt Burton coming in, Josh Addo-Carr, Brent Naden, Matt Duffy, things are looking up and up for us.
I'm a fan. I think he is probably the smartest NRL man there is. I think he's probably one of the biggest brains in the game at the moment. And I'm a fan. I think he's the guy that can bring us back to a contending club. For
us, it's bringing one of our own back to us. You know, we've seen him having success at different clubs, and to bring him back home to be part of a massive overhaul and what we're trying to do, man, I'm so for it.
The biggest thing for me is he understands what the Bulldogs culture is or what it should be, and I'm excited for him to bring that back.
I'm excited for him to work with Steve Hansen. You know, two brilliant minds in their fields coming together. It's great, you know, and I think it's awesome for where we're going to be heading as a club. Mate, we've got some signings we've made for next year. We're starting to look a little bit better. We're still a little bit off in a couple of positions, but hopefully this is the end of the hell we've been through in the last 5 years. So, mate, a phenomenal acquisition by the club. Great, you know, kind of puts us back into hoping and dreaming of good times again. You know, me going around to the streets of Belmore and partying. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, you know, the glory days.
Looking forward to that again, bro. Looking forward to that again.
Yeah, so big news in Dogsland. Absolutely wrapped. More news to come out at the end of the week, so stay tuned with that. I'm breaking to you now. TPJ and Paul Vaughan will be signing to the club by the end of the week.
Not a fan of Paul Vaughan joining the club, but let's leave that at that.
Yeah, no, I like it. I've come around. I know we're trying to build a culture, but I know that we feel good at the helm. And I know that with Steve Hansen a part of it as well, there's less chance of them slipping up. And I know that if they do slip up, there's just going to be a massive crackdown on it. I just see it. Like, I love Phil Gould, bro. What a haboob.
What a great guy.
Khalil.
Thanks, Phil. Stato.